Hi everyone, this is Victoria Fashen and welcome back to my channel. First things first, I just want to say I missed all of you guys. I know, again, I have been going through and I know that sometimes I disappear. I can't help it. I'm an Aquarius. Sometimes I just disappear and then eventually I come back. However, I am going to try to change that, and I have so many explanations why I haven't been online. The shortest answer, life. Life got in the way. However, I'm going to give you the long form explanation on why I have been MIA, what the hell has been going on in my fucking crazy life, where I'm at now, where I want to take the channel, and what projects I have in mind. So let's start. One of my most recent videos that I did was just me hanging out at the cemetery. When I came back, I came back and moved to Los Angeles, got sick like 2 or 3 times, and I also fell into a deep depression, bedridden for like a good 2 weeks. I just didn't want it to get out of bed. And if I did, I would go for walks. And finally, I was able to register my car back on the road for me to drive again. 2 months later, I got into a car accident. I got rear-ended. I was okay, but I was sick. And I believe it was the week of Valentine's Day. So I was very pissed off when all that happened. However, my car was still functional. Within that time frame, a family member got sick. It was very tumultuous. It was chaotic. And I didn't want it to accept what was going on and the behavior that was going on during that time. I ended up moving out with a friend. And because I thought, okay, I have choices. I have a job. It's not that far from my job. So fuck it. Let me start building my life, because I was already getting used to it. That didn't work out neither. I definitely don't want to make the same mistake again. That's all I need to say about that. So I moved back to my parents' house. And once I'm back at my parents' house, I start rebuilding my life again. Working a lot, and the way how my brain functions, I am not afraid to admit that I have an addictive personality. So with that being said, just to be clear, I don't do drugs. I live a very sober life. I rarely drink. I was smoking cigarettes on and off throughout the pandemic, and sometimes I treat myself with a cigarette, especially with cigarettes and coffee. However, I do love myself a cup of joe. To me, I don't call it a cup of joe. I call it cafecito. I get very, I cannot live without coffee. Like, that's something, how my addictive personality kicks in is by me working a lot. Not only by working a lot, but also just, if it's not working a lot, it's definitely scrolling on social media. Use my brain and manifest it and alchemize it to get addicted to more healthier choices. So, like I said, my main one is working. And I started working my ass off. Tend to do that. I basically work and work and work. I basically sometimes work 7 days a week, and was in a period of just simply working. And my job is not easy. I work in a retail job. My job is very, very overwhelming. Love my coworkers. I love where I work. However, the clientele, if there's anything that gets to my skin, is people who act very entitled. I'm sorry to say, but just because you're richer than me, just because you're prettier than me, there's 2 logical deities that exist: taxes and death. You cannot avoid any of those 2 aspects of life. Don't like people who are not humble, and it really absolutely bothers me. So I have to deal with a lot of entitled people. And so far, my patience has not been the best at all. So I get extremely stressed out. I cannot be stressed out due to my PCOS, my polycystic ovarian syndrome, because then I start choosing foods that are not good for me. So, but also I love my independence. So for a brief moment, I was just distracted by working. And within the time period that I was not really uploading any long form content, I was also in a state of, I lost my creativity. I did not have any motivation and that's really hard for me to admit. I don't like not creating. In one of my previous videos, I did mention that the love of my life is my art, is my creativity. And I am a multimedia artist and love making collages. I love drawing. I love editing videos. I just like to do a little bit of everything. And also I use a lot of my art with my fashion and my fashion sensibilities. I was just not in a creative mood. The ideas were not kicking in. There was moments where I tried my best to sit behind the camera and sit where I'm at. And yet I just had no reason to upload videos. And when you start losing your creativity, that's like a special place in hell for artists. And I also just felt very ashamed. And I think that's what made me feel a certain way. I also believe because I did come back home, I was feeling very ashamed because a lot of my videos, even though this was originally meant to be a goth channel and talking about the subculture, which eventually I will get back to, I also like to do a lot of self-improvement, self-healing, self-love and mental health, because that is very important for me. So I felt very shameful to go back to square one. Why am I going to go online, make videos, and talk about self-improvement if I'm back at square one? So I was beating myself up a lot. And I am very hypercritical of myself. Over the last 3 years, that's actually has been more subsided. What I tell myself, it's actually more positive, and which I'm very grateful where I'm at the mental place where I'm at in my life. Here comes September. September, because I was working and I was working constantly. I wasn't going out. I wasn't going to a club. I wasn't going to go spend time with friends other than go have a cup of coffee. Or go to the park and walk for 3 laps. I didn't socialize and none of that. So I'm coming home from work. If you hear noise in the background, it's my dog. I come home from work and I'm getting off the freeway and I get into another accident. And both times were not my fault. So what happened this time around, it was a green light and it was my right of way. The person on the opposite direction was making a left turn. And once I realized this person was not going to stop for me, even though it was my right of way, I tried to swerve onto the right as fast as I could so I could miss her. But she still ended up hitting my entire left side driver panel. That was probably the scariest car accident I've ever been in. For a brief moment, I lost a little bit of consciousness. My car is totaled now, so I don't have a car now. And I have insurance, but I'm dealing with a whole other scenario. And if you ever think about getting Tesla insurance, do not get Tesla insurance. I don't have Tesla insurance, but the other party did. The claim has barely been filed by my lawyer. However, I don't really want to get too into that because that's more personal. 3 weeks, I was actually scared of driving. I was not really like that. I never been scared of driving, but even went to the hospital with it like in that weekend to see if I was okay. It left me briefly traumatized. And now I don't really want to go to that intersection anymore. And it was so close by my house too. So I am now okay. And now I'm okay with driving and I'm using a car, but it was very scary. Luckily, I did have a car rental for a brief period of time. I had that car for about 2 months, a month and a half. And that's how I went to Oregon. I used that car. It was a really nice car. However, I don't have that car anymore. And I am now taking the bus. Luckily, I live in a city where even though the bus is not that reliable, right now, I'm not really in a going out mood, surprisingly. I've just been more of a homebody, which is not really, it's very different for me to be like that, but I'm surprised by it because that's not really like me. I like to be out in the street. Lastly, the last drama of this entire part of the year, the night before Hallows Eve, apparently there was something going on during that time. I believe in astrology, it was like Mars squaring Pluto. And Mars and Pluto are both malefic planets. So, and if it's a square, it's not the greatest aspects and transits in astrology. With that being said, I remember my psychic friend from work. She told me, get ready for drama because it's going to be intense. This week is going to be very intense. I was just like, okay, fine. So my coworker messages me and tells me, oh my God, there's a fire. And I'm like, what? There's a fire at the store. And I'm like, no way. And then I was at the gym while I got that message, and there was a huge fire in the back of my store. And I was just flabbergasted. I just went and drove immediately because I just wanted to make sure my coworkers were okay. It was a really bad fire, and currently, like, I'm not working as much. However, even though I'm not working as much, I'm working on videos. And I think that when I came back from Portland, which I went to Portland and Seattle a week after the fire, I regained my creativity. And I had this sense of renewal. And I have been focusing on myself a lot again in every aspect that I can think of. And I have actually, even though I will say, even though this year was very difficult for me, it wasn't the greatest year. I don't know what is it. Every time a year ends with a 4, it's not the best year for me. Last year, the last time into 2014, I lost my grandma. It's been 10 years. 2004, I know there was a lot of issues going on at home. And I was just a kid, but I remember that. And I remember being bullied at school. So, and this year it was just, I just feel like I was part of a comedic tragedy. It was just nonstop. However, I feel like this year really tested my strength. It really tested how far I have come in this journey. I didn't feel, and I feel like I grew a lot. And even though there was a lot of obstacles, I was going through hardship, I was battling my mental health, I felt like a martyr at the same time, certain parts of in this year. Despite my hours being cut, not having a car, at the end of the day, what matters is how I feel, what's important for me. I'm not going to let depression, I'm not going to let anything get in the way of my happiness. Oh yeah, I forgot. I lost a couple of friends this year, both with death, and actually stopped talking to them. As much as it hurt, because there were some of these friendships that lasted over 10 years. That did hurt. Granted, there were some people in the scene that I stopped talking to for a long time. They passed away as well. This year was very hard for me in a lot of ways. And I tried to think positive of the outcome of everything. That actually did help with my depression and everything that's going on. And I also realized a lot of things about myself. I just feel like I'm vibrating a lot different now. I don't feel like the same person that I was in the beginning of the year. I love that because I wouldn't say what was bothering me. I was very passive. People would say I'm chill. The only person you have to impress is the one, your inner child, and the person that is going to be, that you're going to be when you're on your deathbed. And I don't want to continue living a life, playing a martyr, letting my post-traumatic stress get the best of me. I'm not going to let anything or anyone stop me from being happy. All these years, I thought that being with somebody would fulfill me. I fulfill myself. I'm not gonna just be so freely with, I am so glad that I took a chance and opportunity to date. I do have attachment issues. So it's hard for me when I talk or when I have feelings for somebody, it's hard for me to let go. I'm not gonna lie and say that I'm perfect because I'm not. I just don't see myself playing small anymore. That part of me died this year, and I don't ever want to be like that ever again. Lost friendships this year that meant a lot to me. I also gained some friendships, new friendships, and also new reconnection with an old friend who I consider to be one of my soulmates. And lastly, I do want to give a shout out to my best friend. My best friend, I told them today, I think you are the only person that I really love in this world. It's not love in a way of romantic love. It's a spiritual kind of bond that him and I have. Because when I really love somebody, put you on a pedestal. Romantic, platonic, my love is very unconditional. And I think that's why it took me so many years to confuse that with attraction and chemistry, and also giving that part of myself to the wrong people. I do want to say that back to my friend, he made me realize that actions speak louder than words. And he really is there for me. I cry a lot. I cry a lot. I cry when I'm happy. I cry when I'm upset. I cry when I'm angry. And yet I don't feel judged. I don't feel that I should be ashamed. I don't feel like I take space. Sorry. Again, I'm already crying right now. And as soon as I start opening my heart and start showing that side of me, especially lovers, they get very annoyed quickly. And let's face it, because that's probably their ego thinking that they did something wrong. He is the only one I trust. And yet, it's a beautiful feeling to have somebody in your life, especially that's not a woman. It's nice to feel like somebody has your back and you could fully trust them. Because I don't trust a lot of people. I rarely trust people, especially men. And he has healed the way I see men. And he also has really been there for me. You can tell when somebody truly loves you is when you can be a mess and they'll still not see you in any other way, the way they saw you when you were in your happiest. So I do want to say and give a shout out to my best friend. So I just feel very, very grateful this year for everything that happened. Even though I don't have a car, I'm able to create. I'm able to save more money. Fuck it. I'm back at my parents'. Oh, well, I'm back here. I have more time to spend with my family. I have more time to spend with my loved one that's sick and make memories. I'm back with my dog. I'm not working that many hours. Okay, better. And I wanted to come back a lot more confident than I usually am, a lot more stable, and a lot more creative. I have a lot of complaints and a lot of things that I am not happy about the subculture. I'm not. There's a lot of things I despise now. So I really am going to start making a lot more videos discussing about the scene. So I'm going to talk about the subculture because I know originally that's what a lot of you guys want to see me discuss about. No, I don't go clubbing that much. I know I don't party that much. I know I don't, and I'll be honest, I don't like a lot of the events that are occurring. There's a limited amount of clubs that I go to. It's because I fully support them and I believe in them. However, nowadays, there's a lot of clubs that I just don't like going to. I feel a lot of people use goth and goth music as a way of having a gateway to be cool, have cool points, to be edgy, when, I don't see a lot of people passionate. There's some that are very passionate, a lot of baby bats that I've seen, and I'm like, hell yeah, good for you. I love that for you, But there's other people that use it just to be cool because it is a trend. It is, it gives you a lot of likes and uses it for clout. I don't like that at all. And it's just like this whole debate that has been occurring about what goth is, what goth isn't. You guys are fucking you guys, if you guys don't realize it, you guys are the main reason why a lot of this whole debate. That's why I haven't posted any videos of what goth is, what goth isn't, because it's losing its magic. Part of the reason why goth became goth to begin with, yes, it's about the music. Yes, it's about it's about the subculture. But you guys are also just forgetting to have fun with it, forgetting to input yourselves and be very expressive about it. But instead, you guys have to copy what every fucking hashtag fucking says. That's why it's ridiculous. It really is. So I want to bring back, and I want to talk about ethereal again, because I think love, romance, all that, I'm a sucker for that. And I want to bring that aspects back into the subculture. It's beautiful. It's ethereal. That's why it's called ethereal. It's eloquent. It's otherworldly. And you guys forget that's the beauty about the goth subculture. There's a reason why Diamanda Galas is called the queen of the underworld, or the opera of the underworld. I forgot what they call her. But because even though she's avant-garde but a lot of the people in the scene do love her and they do respect her. And she has worked with notable artists during the no wave scene and in the 80s. No, the no wave scene. And yeah, you forgot that without Robert Guthrie creating those beautiful pieces of reverb in Cocktail Twins, there wouldn't be no Dream Pop. There's so many things that a lot of people don't discuss about the subculture that I'm researching and inputting it in my channel. So start getting prepared for that. Because yes, I have been half-assing on this channel, but I'm not that's over, because I'm a lot more confident. I feel a lot more dedicated and I have a sense of strength in this for myself. So this is a life update. Expect to have weekly videos every Friday at 5 p.m. I'm also going to continue creating a lot of shorts. I'm also going to do a lot other series about my other topics as well, like travel, lifestyle, and beauty. This is where I currently am. I also would like to hear your feedback, what you guys would like to hear from my channel, what you guys would like me to discuss about, because that's important and your voice is important to me. And I also very much I am very grateful and thankful for the support that I have in my channel. I really appreciate you. I see you and I hear you. And I just know that you guys keep the channel going. So if you have any questions, if you want to see other things that you want me to discuss on this channel, let me know. I'm going to also be a lot more creative and talk about and be more expressive with my poetry. So keep an eye on that too. But I'm going to leave it here. I hope you guys liked this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I love you all very much. Please remember to like and subscribe on this channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.